Good morning and good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to another live edition of Kiwanis Connects. I now call this show to order. It is high noon here in Virginia Beach. It is 9 a.m. somewhere on the West Coast, where Doc Val and our guests are hunkered down. Good morning, Doc Val and Philip. How are you this morning?
We're fine.
Aloha. Doing really, really well. You know, for the first day of spring, I have no complaints and no whining. I think I'm first in the past 3 years.
That's actually pretty good stuff right there. No matter where you're from, that is pretty good. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, watching Kiwanis Connects. We are, of course, on Facebook, Kiwanis Connect show page. Little tweak this week from the WWDBTV page. Unfortunately, Facebook has striketh down my page for whatever the reason. So you'll find us on the other page called Aaron The Voice Phillips. That's another business page of mine that for now will run the stream there and take care of business. YouTube, though, we're still safe on YouTube, WWDBTV, WWDBTV, and of course, Kiwanis Connect show. And every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. on DBTV.TV, you will see Kiwanis Connects run at 8 a.m. Eastern time. And then, of course, if you're not totally sick of me by the time this show is over, then tomorrow you got me, and tomorrow you got me on TV, Doc Val. What's happening in this world when people are finding me all over media?
You know, I think they're not running scared. They're actually commenting. And so you're doing something right.
As listen, you know, when you have a face for radio, you never know what happens in front of the camera. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Congratulations on your 757.
Thank you very much.
That's very, very cool. And good morning. It's great to see you, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you.
As we go through this morning, people will pop in and talk to us. And so if you want to make a phone call, I am so excited about our guest, and he has so much to share today that I think we need to get right on into it. What do you think, Aaron?
Go for it. Yeah. Absolutely. Good. Why don't you take the honors today there, Doc Val?
Thanks. Absolutely. You know, when people were reading the essay about what's happening today and all the social media posts, a couple people go, wow, this is the most scientific your show has ever been. And I'm like, you betcha. I am so excited to geek out and really see something that is making a difference in the world. You know, there's so much science that happens in the background. And then all of a sudden we go, wow, I didn't know that exists. But we're on cutting edge because we have Phil Coelho here. And Phil has been a leader in biosciences for decades. And although he looks like he's my age when we're looking at each other and hanging out, Phil's got a lot of track record. So good morning, Phil.
How you doing, Cal? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So tell us a little bit about why you're here.
There's a new type of medicine that has been practiced now. Really, I think the first treatment was maybe 8 or 9 years ago. Emily Whitehead. It's gene-modified cells, and the important thing to remember about everything else I'm going to say here today is that it starts with your own cells. We're all born in the second trimester of a child evolving. Your immune system begins to form, and your immune system is part of your blood. There are cells in your blood that their job is to fight off things that are alien to you. Mm-hmm. So if anyone who's had COVID understood exactly how it works, they would realize that that was a sign of their immune system at work. COVID was a brand new virus. Your T cells engage it once it gets into your body and into your blood. Your T cells are also called killer cells because their job is to kill things that are trying to kill you. The COVID virus, of course, wasn't really trying to kill you. It was just trying to expand its numbers. But the reality is the result, it was going to kill you. And when the virus goes into your nose, it confiscates cells inside your nose and starts manufacturing even more virus from those cells. They get into the bloodstream. Then your immune system comes and two armies grow. Once your immune system has figured out which of the cells are the most effective against COVID, then they start expanding their numbers like crazy. And the virus is expanding, and there's a digital outcome. If your immune system wins, you're alive. If it loses, you're dead. And so harnessing that immune system for something other than that is what we're talking about today, because the immune system is incredible. It can grow in numbers once it's given a task to do. And that's what we're talking about today, is harnessing your immune system to fight cancers, to fight autoimmune diseases, and to fight what are called hemoglobinopathies. These are genetic problems inside your individual blood cells. All of these things can be lethal, or at the very least disrupt your life. But it's an incredible story clinically. It's also incredible in terms of what it currently costs.
So, Phil, the very first time we first started talking about this was in the beginning of COVID, when you had come up with a product that would be able to tell if there was antigens in your system, and you could read it right away, and you were light years ahead with what your company is doing. And so what I see now, at that point in time, it seemed like this may be a designer virus that not everybody's going to be impacted by, but you had the foresight to think about it. And then as we move forward, I'm not sure that people realize you're a Kiwanian as well. And you've been a major supporter of Kiwanis. And one of our major pillars, and why you're here, is because one of our major pillars is health and nutrition. And you are talking about something today that there's not even 6 degrees of separation. It's not like 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon on this one. Almost every single human being that we know knows somebody or has been impacted by a cancer or an autoimmune disease. And we also all know somebody that didn't make it because of all the costs and everything that are out there. But you've taken the time. And I know that Aaron is back on, and Aaron, you guys talked a little bit earlier about some information that people really need to know about. So why don't you take it away and lead that part of the conversation?
Sure. I believe we have some slides and some visuals that we can share, which will sort of make things a little bit easier to understand. So Phil, why don't you take it away and let's go over what we got.
Yeah, look, we're only 4 slides. I realize that the slideshows are like chloroform. They put you to sleep. I've only have 4, but they help us get going here, right?
Sort of like my bad joke.
Here, okay. These are 4, they're kind of goofy names, right? Chimera, Yescarta, Carvi, Kit, whatever, Casgevy. But they're all FDA-approved cell therapies using the patient's own cells that have been gene modified. If you look over to the right, the numbers, that's what they cost.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
For one pill?
For one treatment, for one patient.
Okay.
Okay. The thing about this is that there's a reason why they're so expensive. It's because pharma moved in quickly after a New England Journal article came out that showed spectacular survival of patients that had failed every other treatment that the FDA had approved and were much sicker than when they were initially diagnosed, and some of them with weeks to live. And it was 80 to 90% recovery of those patients. That led pharma, with all the money in the world, to jump in and start acquiring rights. And that was good that they did in a way, but it also has turned into something that's held the industry back. And so the next slide I'm going to show you this is actually University of Pennsylvania. It's the 2nd generation of CAR T cells. What you see there on the left picture is an MRI of a golf ball sized tumor in the brain. It's called a glioblastoma. Incredibly, after the CAR T cells were delivered, 1 day later, you can see, if you look at that arrow, I know this is a small picture, I apologize for it, but that tumor has essentially disappeared.
One day.
So a magic trick.
Are you kidding me, Phil? One day?
One day. It's an astonishing thing when an army of T cells attacks a tumor. And the next slide is, this is why it's so expensive. It's a strange thing, but pharma likes huge centers, bricks and mortar, people in bunny suits running around, clean rooms where you have to go through, take a half an hour to get ready to actually enter the clean room. And if you're in, who cares? You're in North Dakota, but the manufacturing facility is in Houston. You've got to get the cells, your cells, drawn in North Dakota some way. And then you've got to freeze them because they don't survive travel for any extended period of time. And then you've got to get them on a plane and a nitrogen shipper. And I won't go through all the details, but it takes 32 to 68 days on an average for those cells to come back to the patient. That's what they call the vein to vein time. Cells leave your vein, and then the cells go back in your vein to treat you. And they lose so many cells in doing that. If you can see that one line there, within the first week, they've already lost 92% of the cells that can help you. So they have to expand their numbers. It's an astonishing thing. And there's more people involved in the QC alone because they have to do so many different things that they employ more QC people than they do manufacturing people.
Wow.
This is what's going on right now. And despite that, the data is as good as we've showed you, but it can get much, much better, and it's about to. Next slide.
So, Phil, as
I just want to share, I'm sorry, I just want to break in with the technical support. If you're all having trouble seeing the slides as you're watching on your computer, if you have the option to go full screen on your laptop or desktop or your phone, those slides will open up bigger, everybody. So if you would like to see them in a bigger print, that would be the only way that we could suggest doing that. So I just wanted to share that little tip because I'm doing it on this end.
And so one of the things that I wanted to share, if you're listening to this on in your car, please don't pull over. Please don't open it up on your navigation screen. But Phil, It looks like the current process has like 20 bazillion steps.
Yeah, it does.
And
they're all manual.
Every last one of them.
Yeah.
And so in the current process, that means that you are losing cells in every single step of the way. So what's left to be able to send back to inject into a patient?
Yeah, there's what's called a clinical dose. And if they fall below it, and they do by a big factor, then they have to expand them. And that can take 2 weeks to expand them back up to the larger numbers. And the expanded cells, if they're expanded outside your body, are less effective. So there's some loss with doing that. But the point is, this is what we call remote, slow, expensive. It's just a bad way to do it, but they're kind of stuck with it for a while because that's how they got their FDA approvals. But the thing that is coming and will be out in 2027, that we're one company, we'll probably not be the only one. But the reality is to do it local. There's no reason why this can't be done in your own hospital. If they have these devices, the type we're developing, and I'm sure other companies are working on it, but they actually can improve the efficiency. I know it sounds crazy, but it's over 800%. Their efficiency is 7.9. We're 65% of the cells that came in are genetically modified and ready to go back to you. And it also drops the time. You walk in, and a day or two later, your genetically modified cells are there. And it's fully automated. It's a push the button and go to lunch kind of thing.
Let me stop you right there. We are up against our first break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to get more in depth with Phil, some more information about what they're working on. We have some other special things coming down the pike. I'll share all that with you when we all come back. Don't go anywhere. Kiwanis Connects will continue right after this. Go. Hey everybody, Aaron Phillips here from the Kiwanis Connects show. Hey, are you trying to recruit for new members? Do you have a huge event coming up that maybe is your biggest fundraiser of the year? But you need to do something different to let people know that it's happening. The same old gives you the same old routine and results. Well, we've got an idea for you. The Kiwanis Connects show offers the opportunity to have customized commercials created to help your club get your message out. And you know what? One of the extra wonderful points of this opportunity is we provide it as a fundraising opportunity for every $50 donation for the commercial goes to the Rose Float Kiwanis Club. That's right. The very same Rose Float that we see on television every New Year's that represents Kiwanis International will now be supported by these Kiwanis Connects commercials. So, if you want more information to get involved, just drop us an email at KiwanisConnectsInfo@gmail.com. That's KiwanisConnectsInfo@gmail.com. Get your 30, 60, or 90-second customized commercial today, and let's help the Rose Float Kiwanis Club continue to plant its seeds for success. Peace, love, and little donuts originated in Pittsburgh 15 years ago. Now you can enjoy these little cake donuts right here in Virginia Beach, located at 2105 Princess Anne Road. We have over 60 different toppings to choose from in quantities of 2, 6, 12, and 36. We can take care of any catering needs, such as weddings, business meetings, or Super Bowl party. Call us at 757-301-3564 and let us know what donuts will make your event even groovier.
It looks so good. I'm sure you want to send me some.
I'll tell you what, I've had some. You know what those are like? They make the little donuts. They're all plain, and then you go in. It's like going to these yogurt shops where you get all the different flavors, and they have like you just add your stuff on top of this same plain cakey donut. So I've heard. I'm not saying I've been there to experience them. Wink, wink. But they are very good. Yes. Well, when you come out and visit me, we'll make sure we get some. Or when I come out there for district convention and do my social media thing, winky, winky, I'll bring some with me.
Boxes, suitcase, hitting you an extra.
Absolutely.
Okay, welcome back. So sorry. I get distracted. It's like adult ADD, Phil. I'm so sorry.
By the way, Robert Larson's in the chat room, and I want to say good morning. And he said if we want to, he's back in Michigan, and if we want to get a good laugh, we should go to his page. So I just brought up on my laptop off to the side his page, and the amount of snow. We're sitting here talking about heat waves in California. I got okay weather here. His car was covered, and his poor two dogs look like snow dogs. They look like they should be sitting next to the snowman. So, Mr. Larson, you can keep it up there as far as I'm concerned. So you chose to live there. Anyway,
Michigan is cold.
Yes, the Michigans are called Michiganas, by the way. If you don't know what Michigan is, I'll let you know later. Anyway, I digress.
So you're going to have a hard time with bad dad jokes because you have just made me laugh all morning long.
I got some ready. I didn't even tell you. Today's are basketball themed in honor of the basketball tournament. So I got some basketball bad dad jokes ready to go.
Loving it. So before we left, we were on the screen that I envisioned what the current rooms look like is like the old computer rooms where you had all of these punch cards and everything, and it's a really huge room to process it. And then Phil's machine, can we bring that slide back up? That was the one before we went to commercial. Phil, this is where we were. And so this is the solution that you've come up with, correct?
Yeah, it's you can kind of see in my shoulder here, the main cassette. You see the one that's closest to you. Everything gets processed in a single cassette. The cells go in, only gene modified cells come out. The main thing about this is that it's local. You have the cells. So many things are solved if you can simply go to your hospital, okay, and leave the blood, and they process it. And whether it's 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, depending on which particular treatment is, that you can get it. So a key thing that you can do is talk to your hospitals about it. There will certainly be physicians there that are aware of this medicine emerging. Just so you understand what's going to happen here now. There's 15 100 clinical trials just with CAR T cells. So initially, they go after the largest disease categories, of course. So leukemia, lymphoma, glioblastoma. But there's a total of 41 blood cancers. Eventually, they'll go after them all. And the main thing to understand here, like with sickle cell anemia, with lupus, one of the worst autoimmune diseases, the first 30 patients, all of them stopped any other treatment. They were cured. In fact, the bone marrow then didn't make any more of the B cells that were attacking them. Wow. That's what autoimmune disease is. Your own cells are inadvertently or whatever, unavoidably, I guess, attacking you. Crohn's disease, and there's a number of them. Rheumatoid arthritis is another one, etc. So they're eventually going to get them all, and once the manufacturing is organized, then the money will shift into the vectors, because the machine doesn't cure these. What the machine does is get your cells genetically modified so they can go back in you. That's what the machine does. And it does it reliably in an automated fashion, except it's going to be FDA cleared. It can be considered a cure. It's not quite right to say it's a treatment. It is a treatment, but it's going to turn into, in many of these cases, and the price is going to be dropping in order of magnitude. You can see how simple it is in comparison. And our goal is absolutely positively to drive costs down by a full order of magnitude. Let's show the world that the United States has 150,000 sickle cell anemia patients, but the world has 25 million. And there are countries, second, not the first tier countries, that simply can't afford it. But we're in contact, will there be a press release out? We're in contact with many of them for sickle cell anemia, which is a scourge of many countries, it can be cured.
That's the part that amazes me, Phil. As you're talking about this, Kiwanis is in over 80 countries around the world, and our goal is by 2030 to be in 100 countries. Many of those countries are in Africa, and then they're in South America, where this is prevalent. And so to know that our number one pillar is something that every Kiwanis club around the globe can help invest in, making this a local process.
It belongs local. This is something you walk in with the cells. Mm-hmm. If you just do the gene modification and give them back to you. First of all, every one of those patients, when they were diagnosed, was a lot healthier than they were then when they finally got the CAR T cells, because they had to first fail chemotherapy, they had to fail stem cell transplants, finally. So if it becomes a first-line treatment, and the insurance company should love it, right, that big drop in price, the government should love it, Medicare should love it, it means that it'll be a first line, which means when you're the healthiest, but you've got it, if you can get treated right then it will absolutely be a cure. And Kiwanis can be a great help we might get together on a page at Kiwanis that just alerts them who in their countries they should be contacting about this, because it's going to be a tiny fraction of the cost of what's practiced now. So.
Just want to give a quick shout out to some of the people in the chat room. Want to say hello to, of course, Chuggy and company. They're down in Bahamas listening to us down in the islands. Already acknowledged Mr. Larson, who's in 20,000 feet of snow up in Michigan. Laverne Brown, thank you for watching and your wonderful comments out there in the chat room. And my home club of the Kiwanis Club at Chesapeake is tuning in today. Yay, Chesapeake! Share the feed by simply punching that arrow down there at the bottom of the chat room. Goes to your Facebook page. Please share the feed to this show, because there is some important stuff going on here in today's show with Philip and all the great things coming down the pike, taking care of some cancer health issues. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody and thank them all for watching as always. All right, back to you, Doc Val.
One of the things as we're moving forward and talking about this, Phil, you hit on something, because I always get that light bulb moment, and my light bulb moment is being able to tie this in as a partner with Kiwanis and being able to make this a resource. And one of the things that we've been talking about, I think almost a year and a half now, Aaron, is doing a Doctors Without Borders within Kiwanis, where we're situated with Grace. I always mess up Grace's name in Kenya, and being able to get doctors and resources into places that are really needing this but don't have the resources, and having our doctors go in and do like Dr. Van Vu does when he goes to Vietnam, where they bring in 160 people, both techs and professionals in all different parts of healthcare, and treat everybody that they can get through the doors in a 2-week period of time. And so they take all the resources with them in the suitcase, but we wouldn't take your machine in a suitcase because I don't want to break it. But being able to raise enough money to, when we go into a center, that we can have that system in place and train the doctors on how to use your machine to treat illnesses in the locale that we're working in.
Yeah, that would be, well, we need to talk more about this. It's there, for instance, sickle cell anemia, there's 4 major international organizations associated with patients, right? And so it's worth an additional discussion. You are ideally placed to help make it all happen. Every day, they're just dying every day, And a sickle cell patient costs a lot of money every day. They've got to keep transfusing them, right? Red cells last about 6 weeks in your blood, and then new ones come. If they keep creating the wrong ones, the sickle cell shaped red cells, then they occasionally have to bleed them and give them normal blood to reduce the strokes and stuff that happen. So it's not that they cost a lot at the same time.
Absolutely. And it costs a lot in productivity. It costs a lot in how it impacts those around you. It's like I had a staff member. She missed 3 out of 5 days almost every week because she was in such an advanced state. And 3 years after she graduated, she passed away. And so to know that if this had been in place, and her student insurance would have covered it, because I'm sure this will go into every research hospital.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it's well, we need to talk about that seriously. It could dovetail well. I mean, they'll be commercially available in 2027, and we promised one of the first ones to Sissy in Uganda. She was trained at Fred Hutch when Jen Adair was there. They trained a lot of physicians to go back and treat the diseases most prevalent in their countries. Of course, the AIDS program has now been decapitated, but the point is, all this can be overcome in time and people of goodwill. But
we have clubs in Uganda, Phil. So we need to connect Sissy with our Kiwanis clubs in Uganda.
Yeah, well, we can do that
and be able to make that happen. It's like this on this show, we have been able to help develop systems and be responsive in a way that other organizations just can't mobilize. When you have over 250,000 people that are focused in on an issue, you can make a huge difference. And with all of our key clubs, maybe making a presentation where they can be hands-on, because it's hard to believe, but our Circle K international president is a bioengineer major.
Is he really?
He is a bioengineer major at Harvard. And so I want to do a shout out to Jonathan and say, Jonathan, I know you were going to watch this while you were sitting in class. Please don't do that. Just, log back in, and yes, I will connect you with Mr. Phil. because he messaged me, how can I meet this man? He is such a dynamic young man, and so you're talking to the right crowd, Phil.
Well, we have before we have the final dot, we have what we call an alpha prototype of it we got third-party validation of performance and whatnot, and it's now sitting. One of them is sitting in Massachusetts, in Worcester, Mass, University of Massachusetts Genadair's lab. They're doing clinical trials this year with sickle cell, and it's one of the most graphic things that you can imagine. Sickle cell. Getting the gene modified cells is over 2 months, typically 2 to 3 months. It's punishing on the patient, and but it is a cure. And one of those patients who was cured is now working in her lab. And so he's going to be able to say, I can get the same thing. By the way, we expect that to actually occur in one day, that you come in the morning, they draw your cells. There's a way to get your stem cells into your peripheral blood so you can collect it, which Jen has that technology. Then ours can isolate and gene modify and give them back. So in the afternoon, you should be able to come back and get the gene modified cells. That's actually part of the clinical trial format that the FDA is reviewing. And so we'll be tracking that. Genadair is going to be famous. She deserves it. She's a superstar. And anyway, so there's a lot that we can continue to communicate so people who have these diseases have hope. Right now, there's no hope. But it deserves to have hope, and that it be not just hope that it can happen, but that it can be affordable.
Absolutely. So when you're talking affordable, we're going from $2.5 million to what's a reasonable cost?
I don't know. Remember, there's two different things. One's the manufacturing cost. I would say $20,000. But then what do people charge for it? If we can get into these countries in the right way, then it's such a tiny thing relative to what they're currently doing. It doesn't go to zero, but it drops down to the point where every insurance company will embrace it. So hopefully what we can do is keep it off the patient. Right now, the insurance companies don't pay for all this. They pay for a fraction of it, and you go mortgage your house for the rest of it. So it's going to change. And of course, with scale, you can see how those big manufacturing facilities, you can't scale that. Mm. But these things, if they're in every hospital, you get an automatic scale with just the sheer numbers of them. And as we do a lot of them, our costs will drop. And we intend to pass that on, where we can be a profitable company and not be a greedy company. And that's what we intend to do.
That sounds like a win-win, a cure and affordability. What an amazing concept that is.
I know.
Jeez Louise.
I know. So I think, Aaron, do we need to go to another break, or how are we doing? Because I want to make sure that all of our sponsors are getting in on this, because there's going to be a lot of people watching this. We may break our record.
Yeah, I'm watching the view numbers now throughout the show, and they're one of the highest we've had in quite some time. So this is some good stuff that we are going through. So let's step aside for a break, because I know we got a lot more to do. We still have Melissa Atwell, mental health moment coming up. We have Val's wow moment. We have some stuff on Grace. I know you touched on her earlier, but we have something we want to share in particular. And of course, the NCAA basketball tournament's in full swing. Oh, and by the way, happy spring to everybody. So we've got some basketball bad dad jokes ready for you. So we got a lot to do. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
If you want attention, you need more than an ad. You need a presence. Welcome to WWDBTV, your internet streaming TV station built for business and people. We create high-impact commercials and video podcasts with pro production. Then we help distribute your show where audiences already watch and listen. Your brand, your story. Broadcast ready. On streaming, on social, and beyond. Ready to be seen? Visit WWDBTV.com and book your production today.
Have you ever wanted to dress like a Hall of Fame broadcaster, but didn't know where to begin? In 2018, Aaron Phillips was inducted in the Las Vegas Entertainers Hall of Fame, and The Voice was born. Aaron has been part of many successful podcast programs, and branding those programs plays a vital role. Visit thevoice.qbstores.com and order the latest embroidered products featuring the logos of many of Aaron's shows. Discounts and flat shipping rates are available on all orders, regardless of quantity, on men's, women's, and kids' apparel, and many accessories. Visit thevoice.qbstores.com and let Aaron's voice speak to you.
Peace, Love, and Little Donuts originated in Pittsburgh 15 years ago. Now you can enjoy these little cake donuts right here in Virginia Beach, located at 2105 Princess Anne Road. We have over 60 different toppings to choose from in quantities of 2, 6, 12, and 36. We can take care of any catering needs, such as weddings, business meetings, or Super Bowl party. Call us at 757-301-3564 and let us know what donuts will make your event even groovier. All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. A little ragtime there in the back of the donut music while you're feeling hungry for it. So there you have it. So thank you very much to all of our sponsors. We want to thank them for supporting. And though we're not going to make any official announcement, but I can tell you that come May 1st, we got another new sponsor coming to Kiwanis Connects. And here's the beautiful part of it. It's a business here in Chesapeake owned by fellow Kiwanians. Woo, what a concept, huh? Woohoo! Gotta love that stuff. All right, we got a lot to do still to go. So, Val, I'll turn it back over to you to pick a direction for the car.
Okay. So I would love for Phil, for you to share what you think is the most important thing and how Kiwanians can help. Because we've got a couple things that we want to fill in, but we don't want you to leave. But I want to make sure that you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I just spent my morning with these people and they're just nuts. So
they feel that way anyway.
I know he's going to feel that way anyway, but he still loves me.
I've known Val for a long time and have very high regard for what she brings to everything she decides to focus on. So there's no. I'm a fan and a supporter. I think the main thing is information, right? We need to create a place where they can follow up. For instance, the clinicaltrials.gov is a website, NIH, website. Mm-hmm. If you have a disease and you want to know whether there's a CAR T clinical trial, you can query that site. You may be able to get in on a clinical trial. It won't cost you anything. Now, the thing about these is it's not like typically, I think almost unavoidably, that you get either you're randomized and half of them get the cells and the other half would get an aspirin pill or something, and then they compare the two. These are so profoundly superior that they don't do that. If you get into a trial, you're going to get the cells. They're going to take your cells and modify it. So it's worth doing. I think if Val and I can work to have something posted, so you could go to clinicaltrials.gov. I mean, we'll come up with a list of things that I think Val can figure out how to post it, that you can check no matter where you are in the world, because every legitimate clinical trial NIH tracks. So it could be in China, it could be in Britain, it could be even in Africa. If it satisfies the criteria of a legitimate trial, then it'll be posted. So if you have someone in your family with a particular cancer, the idea, let's go look and see if there's a clinical trial. So I think information like that would be useful. It would be useful, for instance, if people that are watching see underneath my name, Chairman, CTO, whatever, Trenchant Biosystems. Trenchant Bio, those words, TRENCHANTBIO.com. If you put www in front of it, that's our website. So we post a lot of stuff on our website. You can look at that and capture. There's press releases. There's going to be a big important one coming out here in a couple of weeks that involves anemia.
John can put it in the crawler.
Pardon?
Can you repeat that so John can put it in the crawler? All right.
I got you. Yep.
We want to make sure that when people go back to listen to this, that they can actually see it in the crawler.
There you go, John. It's in the chat.
Yeah, it's www.trenchantbio, TRENCHANTBIO.com. That's it. And there's quite a bit of information on there, and there'll be a lot more. But the big press release involves sickle cell anemia, and the first clinical trial of this new technology right here and starting in this year. And she's already demonstrated to the FDA satisfaction that this has a real chance of doing it in one day, which is a miracle. Anyway, the other is within the countries that you're in, if you're in countries that have any of these particular diseases, and there's so many, I mean, it's the amount of cancers that there are out there is huge. But with 1,500 clinical trials, they're clearly, eventually they're going to get them all. So it's going to be a big game changer. So it's contacting, finding out who, what we can do is circulate something about the contacts we have in the various countries already. But Kiwanis could add to that dramatically. And so we can just see, it's also important to understand who in the government, should you be contacting. Because the squeaky wheel is, it's universal. And so if you have people in Kiwanis who have some prestige in any particular place, if they reach out to the authorities to say, do you know about this? Do you know this is coming? Do you know how much money this can save? We can get a kind of a buzz going that'll be helpful. I can't wait, frankly, to go to Uganda. I'll make sure I'm in on that installation crew.
Take me with you. My passport works.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it. And also, Val began with an example of 6 degrees of freedom. It's something we all understand the concept. I don't think there may not be anyone that, if you look at the list of these diseases, how many hemoglobinopathies? There's so many. There's like 100, so when you spread all these cancers out, and it canvasses a big percentage of the population, so it's and the cost should go down despite inflation dramatically, even from where we start, because the volume will drive it down. So I think having getting the information out to people will help bring it forward and draw attention to any particular country. So you can, on our website, there's an info at, we'll try and answer as many as we can. But I think looking at clinicaltrials.gov right now for anyone, any good friend or whatever who has a disease, and see what's out there is useful.
Love it. I think it's great. And I think what's kind of interesting is that we are on the precipice of potentially being alive to see the eradication of some cancers because of this research.
Yeah, it's remember it'll cure it for that person, and what we don't really know to need generations to see whether anything's going to carry over to the kids. Right. Remember, there's a reason why your immune system is not so very effective against cancer, because those are your cells.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. They've gone rogue. Okay. So what they do there is when they go rogue, new things emerge on their surface. They're called antigens. One of them here for these cancers is called CD19. There's all kinds of antigens on there, but it's identifying what thing is the target. Because what our machine does, it takes your cell, it puts a payload in your cell. Then that cell goes into your body and starts replicating with that payload. And the payload can be something that just says, find a CD19 cell that's a cancer cell and kill it, and they do. Mm-hmm. Or the other thing is they can, if there's a genetic, series of things that happen, and they can just stop one of them from happening, if 5 things need to happen to trigger the disease, and it can interrupt any one of them,
Yes.
okay, that's all it's going to need to do. So it's we just need all these smart people who are doing, they call them vectors, by the way, that's what they call. So our machine puts a vector in a cell and then delivers the cells back to the patient. So if the money switches from manufacturing to doing vectors, all this will accelerate even more.
Well, let's stay positive. Let's hope that will shift and people realize the importance. So with this point, we're going to, speaking of shifting gears, we're going to shift gears just for a little bit on you, Philip. So hang tight. We have some other things we need to get to, of course. And so let's get started, Doc Val, with a little message from our good friend Melissa Atwell at The Mental Health Moment. Melissa, take it away.
Hi, I'm Melissa Atwell here with your Mental Health Moment. Let's talk about boundaries. Boundaries don't push people away. They protect relationships. Healthy boundaries support a healthy mind. When you're saying yes to something, you're saying no in another space in your life. So remember, take a moment for your mental health.
Had a nice conversation with Melissa on the phone the other evening. We were talking about some things, so I always love touching base with her. One of my favorite people in the world, right up next to you, Val, is Miss Melissa. All right, with that, let's turn it over to Doc Val for Val's Kiwanis Wow Moment.
It's got my Wonder Woman thing going on right there. And so I have been looking at all the different fundraisers and everything that are going on around the country and literally around the world right now. And I'm not sure how many of you have actually seen the best branding fundraiser there is out there. And I think, John, you have a screen.
The Centennial Internet Kiwanis Club is pleased to announce that we are currently accepting pre-orders for the newest manufacturing run of the giant 8-foot-high Kiwanis logo inflatables. New this round, we're accepting orders for Action Club, Circle K, Key Club, and Kiwanis designs. At $625 per unit plus shipping, these inflatables are easy to set up, display, and store. You can order them online at centennial-internet.club today.
Several of our clubs already own one of these things. And if you think about going into a sporting arena and you see this gigantic 8-foot Kiwanis logo or Key Club logo or Action Club or Circle K, it is the best way to brand. And it is the fundraiser that we're using for my Centennial E Club, which was the very first club that started as an internet club with all of the governors from around the world joining that club to start with. And I got lucky. I don't know how they invited me to be a part of that. So that was my big wow of looking at be creative in your fundraising and help us out with ours.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And that's some good. I just want to know with those big blow-ups, please tell me those are not manually blown up. Tell me that there's some.
No. They have a motor in them, and the motor this time around is a lot quieter. So you plug that puppy in, it self-inflates, and then you unplug it. And like John Crawford said, it is worth every penny because it does really get attention. Kathy Shermansky out in Pennsylvania has hers. Mine disappeared.
Uh-oh.
I took it to a convention in Las Vegas, and we had it in the front of the hotel. And at the end of the day, it was no longer in the front of the hotel. Someone told me it blew away. I didn't think it blew away. Yes.
So do those things get treated like the old bell and gavel or banners that used to get swiped to, encourage interclubbing, maybe?
No, it was not. It just disappeared.
Wow, that's too bad. Well, after it's inflated, if you don't know what to do with it, if you get in trouble with your wife, it does make a nice outside bed, I've been told. So I'm just going to leave that right there. Okay. By the way,
Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, we just put Philip into the green room for a second so that this way he doesn't have to like bear with all of my bad jokes for the moment. But was he privy to the homework assignment that we usually ask our guests?
He is, but before we get to that homework assignment,
Yes.
I wanted him to be a part of this next conversation.
Okay, bring it back.
You're back. Welcome. And part of this conversation is because it's really come to my attention, and it's become even, you guys all know, and I'm very clear and very transparent about the fact that I'm running for international trustee. And so I have been looking at the registration numbers for the international convention. They're extremely low. And I think part of it is because it's in Manila, but part of it is because it's a part of the world that most people have never thought to travel to. And in the past, we've had an initiative that keeps failing, which is remote voting and being able to get people from other countries to our international convention. And Grace Nishida, who has been a major player in growing Kiwanis on the African continent, not only in her own country, but several countries. She's like, basically, if it was its own federation, she would be the president of that federation. And I think we've got some story and pictures. I'm not sure if John Crawford...
Help Grace attend the Kiwanis Convention in Manila. Grace's trip to the Kiwanis Convention in Manila is at risk due to lack of funds. Your donation can help Grace attend and bring back new ideas. Help Grace attend the Kiwanis Convention.
Cool. So, Phil, if you know of anybody that is in Kenya or any of the doctors and all of that, and we can share this with them to get her there, we'll put some wheels to the things that we talked about today. And do the GoFundMe, do Zelle, do Zephy. We're going to put it all together. Grace has never attended an international convention. So if you're riding in your car, you can come back to it and look at the GoFundMe thing. But she's going to be our end to the Uganda and Kenya part of this project. Definitely for sure. But I wanted you to see that so that you could share that with your folks that are over there. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And let's put this in perspective for those who don't know who Grace is. Grace, think of Val having a doppelganger, and she's over there doing her stuff there, and we got Val here. And so, we first heard about Grace a couple of years ago, courtesy of John Crawford. Some things that were done with her home and helping her recover all that. And she's a doctor out there. And I think it's like 10 p.m. yesterday or something out there. And she's joined us in the past. And she's a great representative of her community as well as a Kiwanian. So again, go back and revisit the show, pull up that QR code. I know John Crawford's got it posted probably all over Facebook. There's the QR code again for convenience. Just scan that. We'll take you to GoFundMe and to whether it's $5, $10, if you can support, please let's do so to help a fellow Kiwanian. All right. With that, as the clock is ticking down, Mr. Philip, as a guest, you are been privy to the homework assignment as we wrap up our show, which is bad dad jokes. And we ask our guests to come prepared with one or two of them. And it appears that you have completed your homework assignment, sir. So if you would, let's hit us with whatever bad dad jokes you have prepared for us today to get us started.
So a journalist friend of mine had heard about a strange circumstance that he thought would be a human interest story. It was about a man, supposedly, with a three-legged pig. And that he treated that three-legged pig like a member of the family. I mean, it had its own Barcalounger. It had a little mechanism in the refrigerator so he could poke it and it would open up and he could feed himself directly out of the refrigerator. It was a story that he'd heard. He thought, well, Maine news is slow. I think I'll go interview this guy. And he goes up and it's all true. All that's true and more. And he asked him, he said, why are you treating this pig so big? That's so great. I mean, and he said, you don't understand. This pig saved my life. I was out fishing in a boat out in the lake. It was cold. I caught a fish. It was giving me a lot of trouble pulling in. I finally pulled it in, but I pulled so hard that I tipped and went over into the water. I had shoes on, clothes on. They soaked. I'm not a good swimmer anyway. I was drowning, yelling and drowning. The pig was on shore. Pig swam out, grabbed the scruff of my coat, dragged me to the shore, rolled me over in my stomach, jumped up and down on my back to get the water out of my lung. The pig saved my lives. It was just incredible. The guy said, well, it's fantastic. I understand why you're attracted to this pig, but let's see, do I have any other questions? Oh, yeah. What is it about the 3 legs? He said, I just explained it. The pig saved my life. I wouldn't want to eat them all at once.
Oh. All right, John, let's hit it. Let's roll.
She did say bad. So
the sad part is, Philip, is that your joke's going to be the high bar. Mine's going to definitely bring the room down. I can tell you that much. So, all right. Well, Division 1A NCAA men's basketball tournament is in full swing this week, and so I figured, what the heck? We'll throw it up for grabs. We'll get some basketball-related bad dad jokes. Here you go. Let's get started. Which Star Wars character is the best basketball player? What Star Wars character is the best basketball player? If you want to know, Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's right. I said it. Obi-Wan Kenobi. That is right. There you go. All right. I got Val laughing in her hands already. There you go. What do basketball centers dance to at prom? What is a basketball center's dance to at prom? What do they love to do? Well, of course, if you said Post Malone, you'd be right. You know, centers, they post up at Post Malone. Okay, never mind. Let's just keep going before they do it. What's a Pirate's favorite type of basketball shot?
A hook shot.
Yes, a jump hook or hook shot. There you go. Did that one. As I'm crumpling them up, I'm shooting them into my basket over here to my right, and I'm actually getting them all in because I'm like this close to the basket. Okay. Now, if you want, I got a great restaurant idea. You know, restaurants are opening up a dime a dozen. I've got a great idea for an NBA-themed fast food restaurant. You ready? I think I'll call it Shake Shack. SHAQ. No? All right. What can I tell you? Why did
Phil is looking at you going, what just happened here?
I know. Listen, in your next research department there, Philip, if you could try to help us figure that out, I think we'd all be very happy about that. Why did the basketball player go to jail? Which nowadays really doesn't sound too funny, but
no.
Why did the basketball player go to? Because he shot the ball. Come on, what else would you expect the basketball player to do? They shoot the ball. That's right. All right. Why do basketball players love astronomy? Why do basketball players love astronomy? Because they're all shooting stars. That's why. That's right. I said it, folks. Remember, I got that one in a small basket to the right. What do you call an NBA basketball player that misses dunks? What do you
unemployed?
Unemployed? That's not bad. Or how about really short? But no, not really. You know what they're called? They're called alley-whoops, not alley-oops, alley-whoops. That's right, because they missed the dunk. And thank goodness, the last one, what role, that's right, what role, not only do the Dalmatians sit on fire trucks, but what role does a Dalmatian fill on a basketball team, you might ask? They fill the role, Dalmatians fill the role of a spot shooter. That's right, I said it. And mercifully, that does it for this week's edition of Bad Dad Jokes, basketball-themed Bad Dad Jokes. Thank goodness. All right, Val.
I'm so sorry.
I know. I was reaching. I know.
We probably should have started with those and let Phil end it.
You know what? I may have to think of that. But you see, here's the problem. My Eileen Cohen says, yay, Val. I guess because she's loving the fact that you are actually laughing at my jokes because she doesn't laugh at them anymore. So, all right, there you have it. You're right. But I'm not privy to the jokes that our guests bring. So I figure I would let them go first, get out of the hoopla, because I will only bring down the room as – actually, you know what? I just found this out. The Titanic really never ran into an iceberg. They just listened to a bunch of my bad dad jokes, and they said, we're sinking because we're getting out of here. Okay, with that, Philip, why don't you take about 30 seconds to wrap us up, and then we'll wrap up and get the heck out of Dodge.
Well, good things are coming for a lot of diseases. Think about it. You get a pill, it's usually for a particular disease, right? It's more specific. This is a type of a new medicine that goes for hundreds of diseases, and can be, at least the evidence right now is, can be considered a cure if you get it early in the diagnosis. So it's a new world, and it's going to extend lifespan.
Well, we definitely look forward to continued news and success, and keeping us informed as to the great advances and what you all are doing to help those that could use the type of healing powers that you are bringing forth to the market. Doc Val, final thoughts, my friend.
I am feeling that this is a brand new day in our world. You're bringing us hope on so many levels, Phil, and thank you for spending time with us, because during this age of politics and everything that's going on, we need a little bit of hope, and you just did it. So not only did you get great laughs, but Kiwanis can be at the ground level in helping change the world, one child and one community at a time. Mahalo to you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Nice seeing you, people.
All right, couple of quick programming notes tomorrow on Aaron's Hour. My friends from Foundation Fighting Blindness will be on tomorrow. We have the Hampton Roads Vision Walk coming up on April 18th, so you'll hear from Lauren and Deborah about that. And then at 12:30 to 1 p.m., a local channel, Cox Channel 4, Channel 4 in the local cable guide is what I'm really trying to say. My friends from Zyder's Theater, the Z Theater, will be on talking about what the theater does locally, as well as their a production that they do annually called Fringe will be coming in here locally. And of course, if you miss that locally, just go to the Facebook page called The Voice of 757. You'll be able to catch it early next week. If you miss, I want it out on TV, and then we'll put it up on Facebook. All right. Stay tuned for social media during the week to find out who our guests will be next week. I do know this. We actually have some guests lined up for the upcoming couple of weeks. We're actually getting ahead of the curve finally. After 3 years, we finally figured it out. All right, everybody, have a great week. Remember, be kind to everybody. Why? We're all we have. Philip, thank you for joining us. Everybody out there, thank you for watching. Have a good week, everyone. See ya. Oh, my